Hello and welcome to Mente de Madre Leona. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Christina Higgins and I am your host. So we are in season 4. Today is episode number 2. I can't believe I've been doing this for quite so long, and I am really excited to be talking to you guys today. So if you've followed me for a while, you know that I talk about things that are fitness related, nutrition related, and also things that deal with spirituality and self-healing. And over the last couple of years, I've read a lot of books, and it's really interesting how when you're building muscle, you start and it's a process, and there's layer upon layer to have gains that actually show, and also the physical strength part of it where you actually can say, well, I can pick up things I couldn't pick up before. I have stamina I didn't have before. And I have found that spirituality is so similar for me in that, because the things that I began reading before, I understood them in a different light. And as I've progressed along my journey, I understand them in another light, and maybe more fully. It seems like that. The more terms I learn and what different things mean, and come more and more out of kind of the mindset of, this is the way things are, this is the way that they have to be, and these are the rules of life, and you've got to follow these things and don't stray out of these boundaries and don't ask a lot of questions. So getting out of that mindset and believing that I'm just a bad person because I haven't perfected myself or perfected my life, and that I have to have someone save me. Getting out of those types of patterns of thought and behavior and mindset, it's just so freeing, and it's just enlightening to me to see how not only is my body growing and thriving more and more, but emotionally and spiritually I'm changing and growing. And it's an interesting correlation that they're so intertwined. I know there are so many people that have experienced similar stories of setting out to, whether it be heal themselves from an illness, and then that turns into them finding more of their inner spirituality, or they go into this realm of fitness, whatever the case may be. It doesn't have to be lifting weights like me, or it could be CrossFit, it could be running, cycling, yoga. Yoga obviously is kind of the default. You would expect there to be a lot of spirituality there, but Pilates, all of these different things where you have to use the mind to tell the body to continue forward when things are uncomfortable, when you're emotions say, I don't want to, I would rather not do this thing. And to finally have this emerging inner strength as you're creating this outer strength, it's very interesting, and it's a path I'm so excited to be on. And I know I've spoken about this at length in the past, but I feel like it's so exciting, and it's worth revisiting, because I just keep feeling like I'm growing and expanding in what I can understand. And one thing that I really have dealt with in the last couple of years is the negativity that we have that is so rampant in our society. And I deal with it a lot with my children, because I'm at home a lot, and when I'm in the gym, everybody is in a really positive, happy place. Everyone's uplifting. But for my children, when they're coming home from school, they're telling me all these very negative things, and they can even be telling me them with a laugh, with a smile, and they don't even realize how negative the things that are coming out of their mouth or their attitudes are, because it's so commonplace. And I was definitely in that mindset, and I'm not completely out of that mindset. I'm working very, very hard on myself to break those patterns of negativity. But with my children, I was beginning to get more and more concerned about how do we stop this? How do we start to move into a positive mindset? And it's great to, try to lead by example, but they're not with me all the time as they used to be when they were homeschooled. So now they're in a place where they're influenced greatly by a lot of other kids that are coming out of other homes. And unfortunately, there is a lot of bullying and even racism, and it just is ridiculous. And I can't go and change the other children. I can't go into their parents' homes. I can say for sure that the teachers and the administrators at our school are phenomenal, but there's only so much they can do, and really their hands are quite tied because it's an independent charter school, but they're still, state funded. So it's not like a private school where they can really buckle down on a whole lot. They do try their best, though, to provide a really positive environment, but there are just some things they can't do. So I kept asking and asking, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? And I stopped at a garage sale with my husband, and this lady had this beautiful little journal. It was called Start Each Day with a Grateful Heart. And she had it for like 50 cents. And so I grabbed it. I just thought it was the prettiest little thing. I didn't really even think about what I would use it for. I set it down on the table when I got home and just kind of left it there. My girls came home from school and they grabbed the book and they were so excited about this little journal and they wanted to know more. And so we just sat down that day, and from that point forward, once a day, we sit down and we go through some of the questions that are in the book. And it's interesting to see how they respond to the questions, and then to help them learn to look at their responses and try to change their perspective and help them visualize how they could see things in a more positive light or deal with things more positively. And within a very short amount of time, I have started to see drastic changes in their behavior and the things that they're saying and doing. And it's not 100%. One of my children had like a total meltdown yesterday. And of course, we are still dealing with hormones, and my girls are very close to going through puberty. So there's also that real fine line there of, spirituality versus hormones, and, trying to also keep them healthy and all of that. So I can't say enough about how beneficial this has been, this little book and this quiet time that we have together. And if my little son, he's 4, is sitting with us, he will answer the questions too. So and my daughters are so excited for him to do it, and it has become a really positive time in our home. And I'm excited to continue that. And I would really encourage you, if you have not gotten one of these little journals, it just has thought-provoking questions like, what's your focus for the week? What were your priorities for today? What was something miraculous that happened? And when my children don't really understand one of the questions, I'll give them my answer for my day first, and then they can follow suit. And they're just learning on the fly, and it's really, really awesome. And I know these books they have them in Walmart and on Amazon. And one of the girls that I really love to follow on Instagram, she is a coach at my gym. She had posted a picture of this really cool manifestation journal. So we just got that in yesterday, and we did a little bit in that book as well, my daughters and I. And when I initially ordered it, I thought, well, this will be, just my daily planner and journal. And instead, my girls were like, oh no, we want to do this too. And it's definitely a broader scale of concepts that they're not familiar with. But in my heart, I keep thinking, I want to teach them the same things that I'm learning now, not to tell them this is what you have to believe, but to open their mind that if you want to believe these things that I have learned that make me feel good, here's what they are, and allow their minds to grow and to learn and take them onto their path in life. So it's definitely an interesting time for my girls and I and my son and my husband, because I'm working very, very diligently on trying to control my emotions in a much better way and to really allow my mind to focus on the things that I want to create in this life. And the other day, I've been trying to figure out how to start pulling all my blogs off of my old website and upload them onto my new website. And it's been so overwhelming that I've just kind of sat back and not really done anything. But I was looking at my website and I was just like, where did I come up with this slogan of release your inner lioness? Because at the time, I didn't have like this super big understanding of what I feel like that means to me today. It's different. When I said that before, I meant we do all have this inner strength, and we can use that to get ourselves through really, really difficult times or challenges, or to achieve things we never thought we could have before. We've all done that. But at this point, as I've gone along and learned more about spirituality, I'm starting to see that releasing your inner lioness on a larger frame. And so I'm excited that that is still going to continue being the motto, I guess you could say, of what I'm doing. And as that grows and increases, that's just really exciting to me. So a couple months ago, I downloaded Gaia onto my TV and my phone, and my husband didn't really even notice that I had done that. And one night I had turned it on and he woke up and started watching it with me. He was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I love all this stuff. I used to watch a lot of this stuff. So it's been really phenomenal, because in many other places, especially living in the Bible Belt, if I were to talk about some of the things that I want to talk about, I'd be shut down immediately. A lot of even my family members would be like, what are you talking about? We've got to talk about religion. And so this is, contrary to some of the things that have been instilled in, my early years. So to have a partner who already has been on a spiritual journey and left that and is coming back to it at the same time as me, it's very unique, and it's very grounding to have someone that you can hold their hand and they understand you the way you understand them. So a lot of the things that I've read, like Lala Deli and so many of the other ones I've talked to you guys about before, it's just so awesome to see and understand their message, not as just a motivational quote, but in a much more intense, deep spiritual meaning. And listening to people like Esther Hicks, whether you believe in channeling or not, her message is really, really phenomenal. And that positive mindset is so incredibly important. And so that is just definitely something that I am working on, just as hard as I'm working to increase my muscle mass and my stamina in the gym. I'm working as hard on correcting my mindset when I get out of those areas of positivity and into the negative old stories that I tell myself and bring myself down. So another thing that I had started doing recently, and I have no idea why I started doing this, but it's kind of like baby steps. And I would encourage you to try this if you're also wanting to work on your inner mindset, your inner mind frame. I told myself I was going through a very, very hard time. We lost our absolute favorite cat. And if you don't like cats, then you won't understand. But like this cat, we had him since he was a baby, and it just about it hurt. It really, really hurt. And I cried and I cried. And it was so hard. It was so hard on my children. Just so devastating. So I got into this pretty dark area of my mind, very, very negative, and it was really hard to pull myself out of that, and especially seeing how upset my girls were about the kitten. And so I told myself, you can't just keep staying in this, but it was like one of those depressions that it was like I couldn't get myself out of it. I just couldn't. And so I just told myself, you know what, you're just not going to do anything. You're absolutely not going to do anything. No, whatever you feel like doing, that's what you're going to do. And you're not going to, and I'm not talking about like not doing the laundry and the dishes and cooking or taking care of the children, but I wasn't going to force myself to do anything I didn't feel I wanted to do for just a short amount of time. And I decided that very first week, that 1 week, I was going to focus on my relationship with my husband. And that was the only thing I would focus on, my entire mindset. And at the end of the week, I couldn't believe how much closer I was to him. It was really, really incredible. And the next week, I focused on another topic. Trusting myself, trusting those that I know genuinely have my best, intentions behind the things they do and say. But the biggest part was trusting in myself. And by the end of that week, I felt so strong in myself. Another week, I focused on fear and letting go of fear and focusing on any time I felt that fear creeping up, which is anxiety. Anytime I felt that anxiety creeping in, to calm myself and to let myself know I don't have to do this. I don't have to feel this way. It's okay. And at the end of that week, again, I felt so much more grounded in myself. And so I've just continued to do this. And another week, I focused solely on just myself. And that, again, was phenomenal. And it's given me so much energy. It definitely brought me out of that really dark depression that I had sunk into. And on a side note, we did adopt a little kitten who was bottle fed. His mom had him right after some of the terrible tornadoes that we had very close to our home. And he very much needed a home. And the woman that gave him to us is just a phenomenal woman. I'm so blessed to have met her. And it was just like another incredible experience to meet her and to see she had just lost everything, and she almost lost her life. Hearing her story, it just again lifted me up so much to see how she was just happy to be alive and happy to have a camper to live in while they were rebuilding their lives. But her deep inner light just shone through, and the fact that she took the time while working full-time and taking care of her family and living in this camper to bottle feed all these kittens into healthy, beautiful little cats. And so getting that little kitten, although he doesn't replace the one that we lost, he has been such a light to us. And I think it's important that we never discount how much other people and animals included can bring into our lives when we least expect it. Because I wasn't out searching for this kitten. This woman had posted a quick little ad on our local page saying, just to our little community, could anyone adopt this little guy? So lots of good things, guys. I'm still doing fasting, not to the extent that I was before, because as I told y'all before, I lost some weight over the summer with the extreme heat, and I'm not interested in getting back into the super skinny place. I'm, want to be muscular, lean and muscular, but I'm not trying to lose any more weight. So I'm not doing fasting every single day as I had been here and there. So yesterday I started taking creatine again. I had been off that for a very long time. So we'll see if I notice in the next couple of weeks any changes in stamina or energy or strength in the gym. I can't say that I noticed a huge impact to my workouts when I went off creatine, but when I let go of everything that I was taking in the past and really focused on being super natural, I didn't see a massive downturn in my strength abilities. There was definitely some, but I told myself every single time, this is natural, this is normal, and we can do better. And using my mind to push my body forward and to gain strength, and not allowing myself to, give myself the excuse of, oh, well, you've had back injuries, you've had all these babies, and you're 40, almost 41. And, I didn't give myself those excuses. I didn't give myself any of the excuses of this hurts or anything like that. So I think it'll be interesting to see just re-adding the creatine, just because it is such a natural product. And they say it's good for the brain too. So we'll also see if I feel any more, awareness maybe in my mind. I had just posted a reel on Instagram a few minutes ago, and one of the songs that I had quoted in my comments was a very old song from Enigma. And if you were ever into new age music, you know who Enigma is. And they still are. They're still phenomenal. I love new age music, and I have, literally my entire life. I remember loving it when I was a very, very little girl. Even though I was not raised in a spiritual home. So one of the lines in one of Enigma's songs that I love so much is, the mind is the engine of the body. And I listened to that song over and over and over. I can't even tell you how many times I've listened to that song throughout my life. I'm sure I have the CD kicking around here somewhere. And it is just so true. If you will believe that your mind can help you to accomplish the things that you want, then you can. And I guess we really just have to look at, is that something we really want? And if it truly is, then I think you can go after it. But sometimes we think we want things that we don't actually want. And so maybe that's why we're not able to achieve those things that we think are our goals, because really our mind is looking elsewhere at something else, and it's our, part of our body or our mind saying, oh no, you couldn't do that. That's not what you're good at. But maybe it's really where your passion lies, and maybe that really is something that you should give more attention to. So guys, that's quite a bit of information. So I hope that I haven't completely bored you guys to death. So we will continue to learn and grow and just try to keep moving forward in a really positive direction. So I hope you guys have a beautiful day wherever you are, and I so appreciate you listening. If you have any feedback you'd like to share with me, I'd love to hear it. My Instagram page is lioness_fitness_motivation, and it's also under Christina Higgins. I got the little blue check mark next to my name. So you guys have a wonderful one, and I will talk to you soon.